Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Unfiltered with Bridget
and Angie. We added some more ambiance to the background, make it a little bit more homey.
Yay. Today we're going to be covering home sale contingencies and
bridge loans. Because I feel like there is a misunderstanding what a bridge loan is. Because I feel like I do know that not all lenders can offer bridge loans. So in this market, if you have a home to sell, usually a lot of times, because I know it's a pain in the butt to sell and buy the exact same day. Like we did that. We bought our new house and we had like 10 or 12 trailers just full of stuff. They were all, of course, borrowed. Mm-hmm. So when we bought our house, we had to empty all of these trailers, saying to get them back to people. And it was me and my OCD did not like that. It was very chaotic. But sometimes it is what you got to do because you have equity in your house that you want to use for the down payment of your new house. And a lot of people think the only way to actually tap into that is either through a home equity loan, which nobody wants an extra loan, taken out when they're going through that process, or to sell their house. And more often than not, people sell their current house to buy their new house. But there's a lot more layers involved with that, because then that can almost create like a domino effect. Essentially, mm-hmm. Like you need to sell your current house to buy your new house. Well, what if the seller of the house you're buying has to sell their house to buy their new house, and then what if they can't find a new house? Or it can be quite the scramble, mm-hmm. I guess. So there's ways to fix that where it can make it a lot less stressful for everybody. Mm-hmm. A little less chaos in the process. You still need to sell your current house, but what if I said you had 6 months to sell it versus you need to close on the exact same day and live out of your trailer for a day? You know what I mean?
Correct.
So ways to make the move-up buyers less stressed, because usually if you're selling your current house, you're usually a move-up buyer or you're trying to downsize. But either way, you don't want that extra burden on you, to try to do all of that at the same time. Or what if you're moving across the country? Yikes. So there's a lot involved with it. But a bridge loan essentially is where we have a company that will take the equity out of your house for you, and you can use it towards your new home. You can use it towards down payment. You can use it towards, if you have like a car loan you want to pay off to, you want to get your finances under control. You can take money out. They'll tell you like how much they can give you. Usually it's going to be more conservative than what it would be if you were to actually sell your house and get the equity out, only because they don't want you to be underwater or upside down on your loan. Like you don't want to get a bridge loan, where you're going to sell it and then the house isn't sell at that, because you can't control the market. The market can change very frequently, what's happening with home sales, or, or the house could sit and then you really want to postpone closing.
Right.
So they're usually more conservative, but as long as the money is there to get you from point A to point B, that's all that really matters, honestly. And the nice thing about the bridge loan is not only do they help take out the equity to help you buy your new house, they also take out a little bit of money and put it in a bucket, and they pay your mortgage for you while you're waiting. Yes. So you literally do not have to worry about having 2 loans, or if you took out a home equity, mm-hmm. 3 loans. Because that's a lot of stress on a buyer. Absolutely. Like to think like, how am I going to cover all these loans, while I'm waiting for my house? So I have to pay on a house I don't live in. Plus I got to pay on my new house. That's a lot of stress for people. Right. If they're not in a position to do that. Most people don't want to be in a position to do that, honestly. Right. So the bridge loan will literally pay your mortgage payment for you from the equity in your house to cover your mortgage for you.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so then it makes it literally a less of a burden on the buyer. And then they have that flexibility to be able to buy their new house, get everything out of it, mm-hmm. so that way it's an empty home. Because usually homes are easier to sell, I'm assuming, when there's not, especially when there's not enough, when the personality is out of it. Is a little bit easier.
That's what I say, yeah.
Yeah. So then you have time to take the personality out of your house, put it on the market, and then you can be, instead of dumping everything in your garage, when you buy your house, you have time to get everything situated. And as long as your house, that's the biggest thing, is you want to make sure it sells in 6 months. So I feel like that'd be an important conversation to have with your agent to make sure where you're going to price it at is 6 months realistic.
Correct.
Is it right now? What's the current turn time you think for houses?
Again, pricing.
Yeah.
It comes down to pricing. Really, it does. you have to set the price right for the size of the home, the condition of the home. If you can price your house just right, it's going to be gone relatively quick. Anything in the 200 range is going pretty quickly. Again, if priced appropriately. Anything in the 3s and up, it is sitting for a little bit longer just because.
That's more of a move-up buyer than it is a first-time home buyer.
And,
so you got to be aware of what
your pool is.
Smaller. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, I'm not saying that first-time home buyers can't be in that range, but a lot of our first-time home buyers. I mean, we've seen some that are in the 4s and 5s. But a lot of them are going to be 250 and under. Usually, is kind of where the niche is. So if your house can sell at that price range, probably a good chance it'll. But yeah, it's just be aware of that to try and help make things more affordable. Because a lot of lenders will say, "Oh yeah, we do bridge loans," but they're not true bridge loans. They're home equity loans. So a home equity is a second mortgage taken out on your house, but it's a mortgage. It's a loan that you have to pay back. Bridge loans you don't pay on. So I know it's as a loan. But what they do is they lien your house. That way, when you sell your house, they get paid off through the sale, and then they're good.
Right.
You're not actually paying that loan. So a home equity, you are. So then if you go to qualify for a new mortgage, they don't omit your current mortgage.
Right.
So you have your current mortgage, you have your home equity, and then you have your new mortgage.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot, especially depending on what you owe on your current house or what your payments are. I mean, that could be very terrifying.
That's something I'd want to pay.
Right. And then not only does it make things more easier, but a little bit more comfortable for you or a little bit less chaotic, it also helps strengthen your offer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have a home sale contingency when you go in to put in an offer, it absolutely makes your offer a lot stronger.
Yeah. So it helps that process all along too. So then if you know of a seller that has the same situation, have them do a bridge loan. Just make sure that they find a lender that can do, because not all lenders are partnered with companies that do bridge loans. So it's important to know the difference between the bridge loan and a home equity loan.
Correct.
You have a home equity currently, and you can pull money out to use it for equity. I mean, go right ahead. But do you want to have all those payments on your shoulder? I mean, because typically when you buy a house, let's say if you close, February 14th, you close on Valentine's Day, whatever, your first payment isn't going to be due until April 1st. So you have a little bit of a buffer where you only won't have like all those payments, because your first payment, because when it comes to a mortgage, your interest is paid in arrears. So then your first payment is due April 1st, and then on April 1st, you're paying the interest in March. So the payment's a little bit wonky. You don't get a free month. You pay it at closing, so everything is covered at closing. So you don't get any free time on payments, but you don't make your first payment until April. So at that point, you'd have like 45 days before you got to worry about making another mortgage payment on your current home. But it's just extra
stress. Speaking of Valentine's Day, is that why you wore pink?
Absolutely. Yep. I love what I do.
I love what I do too. I just don't love Valentine's Day.
I do. I love Valentine's Day. And then my son's birthday is the day after Valentine's Day.
Teddy? Happy birthday, Teddy.
Yeah, he'll be 8. Oh my gosh.
Why do you like Valentine's Day? Why do you love Valentine's Day?
I just love love. Valentine's Day isn't one of those holidays where we have to go all out and go to a fancy meal or anything. It's just, I don't know, we do as a family. We celebrate Valentine's Day as a family. We have like a nice home cooked, because a lot of times like going out to eat, we don't really like going out to eat because we can make the food better at home for less the cost. Plus we have children. So
I like going out to eat.
Yeah, and I like to stay home. So we make dinner at home. We we have candlesticks on the table. We light candles, and then the kids get their kid wine and they put it in little wine glasses. So we make it a big deal. Just nice little family date night in kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, it's on a Saturday this year.
Oh, wonderful.
So don't go on Saturday, or you can.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Oh, there you go.
I don't like Valentine's Day. I celebrate Valentine's Day the day after.
On Ted's birthday.
Yes, exactly. That's when I go to Walmart and buy all the chocolate 50% off, because then you can get the premium chocolate at
They've
the price.
Changed that now. What? You don't get 50% off right away. You see at Christmas? The day after Christmas, it was 25% off. All of the decor and all of the Christmas stuff was 50% off, but the food items were 25% off.
No.
Yeah. So
that's
keep that in mind.
Break my icy cold.
Yeah, I don't think February 15th will be the day you can get half off chocolates. You can try.
Then I'm really gonna, if that happens, then I'm really gonna hate Valentine's Day.
But yeah, they changed it now where it's 25% off. Which I don't understand why. Like, why not just put it on sale and make it all go away? Because that just sits there because no one's going to buy it. They're going to wait till it's 50% off.
Exactly.
So why not just do it right away? I don't.
Because that's what I wait for. That's when I celebrate.
Yeah.
I mean, really, then I don't even celebrate. I'm just celebrating the fact that I got premium chocolates at the price that it should be in the first place.
True.
And then I sit and eat it by myself.
Oh, well, you know, whatever.
Hey, which I'm completely content with, by the way. Valentine's Day is just, it's a Hallmark holiday.
No, Sweetest Day is a Hallmark holiday. Who celebrates Sweetest Day? I don't even know when that is. It's October something.
October 21st.
How do you know that?
I honestly don't know. But I think that's when it is. And I don't celebrate that either.
That's one that I've never celebrated. Like, I don't even get the point of that one. Literally a Hallmark holiday.
I think that just like showed up within the past.
Because we need more holidays. Like, I don't.
How about Grandparents' Day? I don't celebrate that either.
I haven't. Yeah. Groundhog's Day, Flag Day. All the days. Yeah, lots of holidays.
Sorry, we got distracted. Valentine's Day. I just wanted to know if that's why you wore pink. That I wore blue because I'm not blue on.
You should have wear black.
I should have.
You should have wear black.
I should have.
Segueing backwards, back to where we were.
Okay, so now back to contingencies, bridge loans. Yes, it does help not having that home sale contingency on there.
But just another way to be creative, to make things work best for you. Because you never want to put somebody in a financial situation where they are like crazy uncomfortable, because then they get cold feet and then they want to cancel, and then you can't always cancel. It's not easy to be like, oh, I'm out. You can't just walk away because you feel like it. Like, there has to be like a legitimate reason why, because an offer to purchase is a legally binding contract, right? So somebody said, you know what? I just can't. I'm not comfortable with this payment. I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm out. I mean, what happens then if that happens? If they choose that they don't want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, many things. Because what people don't understand, buyers, especially, is that it is the contract, the offer to purchase that they sign and that the seller signs saying they agree to your terms and conditions. It's legally binding, right? So it's held up in court. It's legally binding.
Literally legally binding.
Yes, legally binding. The buyer can attempt to back out. If it's, early enough, the seller may let you out. It may cost you your earnest money. If it's later in the game, where I have been on the sell side, I've had the seller and a buyer tried to back out I think it was a couple days or a week before closing. This was a couple years ago. They tried to back out right before closing, and the seller's like, no, absolutely not. So the buyer had to go through with the closing and ended up just relisting the property.
And that's not good either, because you're losing money essentially in that by relisting it, because it's not free to sell a house either.
Correct. Absolutely. And I mean, I've had buyers that have tried to get out as well, and later in the process, and you could lose a lot more than your earnest money. If a seller wanted, they could take you to court. They could sue you for the cost of the house. They could sue you for, whatever they wanted else to throw in there, whether they purchased new furniture for their new house, or they had moving expenses, or they already purchased their other house. There's so much that they can throw in there. Will they? I don't know.
Everyone's different.
Right. I've never had it go that far, but
it's possible.
It's possible. So it's a legally binding contract. So when you're signing and you're agreeing to the terms and conditions, make sure you're good with it.
Right. And if that seller is selling their house because they're trying to buy their new house and you cancel their contract, that could domino into them having to cancel their contract, because then they could not meet their home sale contingency, on it. So it's important to know that you're not it doesn't affect just you. There's other people involved, and it could create that effect. And do you want to touch base a bit? What is a home sale contingency? Like, when you put that on an offer, what does that mean? So then they have to sell their house. Is there a certain time frame for them to do it? And if they don't do it by X date, the contract is canceled, or how does that work?
So a home sale contingency. So if you're the buyer and you have a house to sell, but you put an offer on a house, So you're saying that I'm going to give Mr. Seller, so much for this house. I have a house to sell, and I am going to list the house for sale within 48, 72 hours, whatever it is that you're going to, however long it's going to take you to get it on the market. You put your address down, and you're going to list it with, a full service agent is usually the best, especially when you're trying to sell it. And then you're going to pick a closing date because you want to give yourself obviously enough time to hopefully get it sold, and then hopefully try to get the closing to coordinate on the same time.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. Is to get everything lined up. So there's multiple chess pieces involved in that process.
Correct. Exactly. You also, you can try to put in, when you do the home sale contingency, not to put a bump in there.
It's important to, what does that mean?
Right. The bump is that if a buyer comes in and puts an offer in on that same house without a home sale contingency, they can bump your offer out of the way. 9 times out of 10, if you don't put a bump in, a seller will counter your offer to add the bump in.
Because it protects them.
Correct. Absolutely. So what that means is, with that bump, they usually give you about 72 hours, 48 hours to 72 hours to remove that home sale contingency.
You remove it when you get an accepted offer on your current house. Like, you need to provide proof of that, I'm assuming?
So in order to, you've got a couple options to remove that home sale contingency. One option is to have an accepted offer on your property. The other option is to get a bridge loan, or whatever type of loan to remove the financing contingency, so you don't have a home to sell before you purchase that home. And you usually have roughly about 72 hours to do that. If you cannot do that, then the seller will serve notice that your offer is now null and void, and then the other offer then moves into place.
That's really important to know too, because that'd be devastating, if you're already in that process to do that. So again, another reason why, look into bridge loan options, because they're great to take, because that would be awful to get that far into that process and then not be able to buy your house because somebody else bumped your offer. Because the home sale contingency does add a lot of risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the sides. And on the flip side, how often do you see people who want to move, but they list their house first and they don't look for a new home until they have an offer on their current house? Because that essentially would remove the contingency. But then what happens if you do that, you have an offer on your house? Who's going to say you're going to find your new home within? Because usually a close is within like 30 to 45 days. Sometimes it's faster if the buyer really wants to move, or if they're ready to go. They can close sooner than if their lender is able to do it.
Right.
So have you seen that happen before too?
I have. Not with me, but I have had buyers that have put an offer on a house and they did not have a home sale contingency, but the sellers were not looking for houses until they got an accepted offer, and they wanted post occupancy on a house until they found one.
Because they needed the money for down payment on their new house.
Yeah. It's always a slippery slope on the route you want to go.
Yeah.
Each agent does it differently. There's no right or wrong way, really. I guess it's all dependent upon your clients. I don't necessarily think, especially in this market, I would roll that dice because inventory is so low.
Very low. Yeah.
And now buyers don't really want to pay they don't want, when a buyer goes to buy a house, they want to move in.
Yeah, they don't want to buy a house and then still be living in their apartment,
or
wherever they are. Like, they don't want to stay where they are. Like, usually they close a little bit earlier to give themselves a week to move out of their apartment. But yeah, I wouldn't want to buy a house and then not be able to live in the house I just bought. I didn't buy a house to be a landlord.
Right. Yeah, because the seller will pay you to be there for however long they want to. And that was common in the COVID times, right? Because people were willing to do whatever to get a house.
Yeah.
But now that's kind of going away. So is it ideal to wait till you get an accepted offer to start looking? I say no. But another agent might have a different idea on why it works well.
Right.
But
that just seems so stressful, because then I feel like you're under the gun to find a house.
Yeah.
And then and at that point, you might be buying a house you hate because you have to move.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a bridge loan.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a solution for buyers and for sellers. Like, it just makes things, just get rid of that stress, because that just seems so exhausting. I would hate that, because then you're not thinking clearly. You're thinking because you're more rushed, to do something that you might hate the house now that you just bought, or you might regret your decision. And then we go back again to the cold feet and wanting to cancel the contract and understanding that it's legally binding. Now on the flip side too, you can start a bridge loan, when you're in the process. So if you decide that you need to do that, you can always start it. So it's not like you have to do it prior to the offer. That's important to understand, is you don't have to do it prior to accept the offer. They do it like in the middle. But if a buyer is being pre-approved, they need that. If they're going to go that route, we need that set up, that we know it's set up that way. But again, if like a seller on the flip side, if they wanted to do it, they can wait till and so your home can be under contract and still be able to do a bridge loan. You just can't have to close, obviously.
And that's, what I would recommend to my sellers looking at another home is I would say, you know what, let's get your home on the market. Let's start looking. If you find a house, let's put in an offer. We can do the home sale contingency if you want. But when you're putting your home on the market, let's also reach out to your lender and see if they do offer the bridge loan. And let's make sure that you're going to qualify for that. Not necessarily saying we're going to need it, but let's at least do it.
Because it's not an instant thing. They're not immediate. They take about 3 business days to get them. So you don't want to be scrambling last minute to try and get one, and you can't get it like on the spot, because it's a pre-approval process. They verify, things on the back end.
So at least then that yes, you're qualified for one. Let's, not use it right away, but if we can get the offer accepted with the home sale contingency, and if we need to activate it, then we can.
Yep.
And that way then, you're golden. You don't waste your time using that bridge loan while you're still searching.
Right.
But you can activate it if you get the accepted offer and there's a potential of another offer coming in.
Right. Yeah, because you don't want to lose the house.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think as we've been saying, in all these episodes, it matters who you work with. Really, it truly does. To have that knowledge and the products to support it, it makes the process a lot easier for you as a buyer, or even for you as a seller. It matters who you're working with. So you want to make sure that it's somebody who can help on all the different sides to make it,
Yeah, absolutely. Creativity matters, and, who can be creative and help you the best way possible.
Because not every deal is black and white.
It's
not every, there's a whole lot of gray, and it takes a whole lot of creative thinking and planning and like problem solving, honestly, on how you can make this work. So there's not a lot of homes or loans don't fit in a box.
No,
like the box is not the same anymore as it used to be. Everything is so much more complex.
Correct.
So,
and you're always like, I feel like at least every other deal, I learn something new, or I go through something that I haven't experienced before. Yeah.
And I love that, because you learn things through it. It's not always the most ideal, but I love the ability to learn things throughout the process. That makes you better at what you do and how you can better serve your clients. Like, hey, I actually had this happen to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because there'll be times on deals and I'm like, I have not had that one before.
Yeah.
I got to look into this. Give me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're always learning, which is definitely great.
Well, and our industry is constantly changing. Constantly changing. So we keep on adding in new programs, new options, new ways to make things work for buyers. So we have over 100 loan programs. Do I know every single one of them? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I have guidelines that I love to read.
She does.
But again, as we've been preaching to you guys, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more confident you are in what you're doing. And if we don't know the answer, we can find the answer, because somebody has to know the answer.
Right. Absolutely.
So whether it's you going to your broker, or for me going directly to the servicer, we've gone right to Fannie Mae, to Freddie Mac. We've gone right to FHA and asked them, because sometimes unique things happen.
Correct. Yeah. And I am one that likes to think out of the box on how to get something to work. I like to challenge the system sometimes. And so when I am with a buyer or even a seller, I'm like, wait, what if it works like this? What if we can do this? I know it's not normal, but what if, and then I always call my partner in crime here and I'm like, hey, bear with me. I know this isn't how
this through.
I know this isn't normally how it works, but what if, and we talk it through, and she'll be like, no. Or she'll be like, wait,
Right.
Actually,
like that's illegal. You can't do that. We're not breaking the law here.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I do like to think out of the box because I mean, it challenges me. And,
Right.
and sometimes it works out great, especially for buyer or seller. And then it's a new way that we do things to get it to go through
Right.
and it works great. So
Yeah, and it's important to know the difference between the area that your lender is specialized in and the area in which your realtor is specialized in. Because like those are two very different things. Do I know some of the things about real estate? Absolutely, because I work with agents. I read contracts. I know the basics. I don't know the ins and outs, and vice versa. Like agents understand lending on like a high level overview, but it's like an iceberg. There's so much more below the surface that they don't know about. Which I mean, it's not your business to know. I mean, that's between me and the client. They're that kind of stuff. But you want to make sure that we aren't like intercrossing. You don't want your agent to like, oh, this is how your loan's supposed to work. Like that's not how it works.
Agents need to stay in their lane. And lenders need to stay in their lane.
Yeah, it's not. You don't dictate like just because you have not heard of a certain loan program doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like that's the thing, or on us, like for me, like, oh, it sounds so simple. Why don't you just do this? Well, because it's illegal. Oh, well, now I know. Like I don't have my real estate license. You don't have your mortgage license. So we're specialized in these areas for a reason.
Correct.
So do we have a basic understanding of each other? Absolutely. But we don't know the full fundamentals. Like a lot of things, like especially when it comes to contract writing, like holy baloney. Like they keep on adding more and more things, it seems like on your end.
Yeah.
And it's just I will never pretend to be, a know-it-all when it comes to that. Lending, I know my stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So
and that's why, when I come up with these ideas or I get an offer on something or an agent pushes back on something that I'm like, huh? I always call Angie and I'm like, what? And she'll tell me what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah.
And if someone's not staying in their lane. And so then I'll push back because I've spoken to somebody that actually knows. So
right. Or if you have questions on it, because some of the times I've actually called listing agents on behalf of my clients to explain like how everything is set up, or if they're solid, if they've gone through underwriting or whatever. So sometimes if you don't know, just ask. Don't wing it. Don't like Google it or Chat GPT it. I love Chat GPT. It's really good for ideas, but it's not the answer. No. I mean, Chat GPT I've learned this. Chat GPT it hallucinates. It creates a fake reality. And it makes everything sound like it's real, but it's not.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is not always correct. They have added in there now that makes you fact check, some of your stuff in there. Because I've asked Chat a question to see what it would say, and it was wrong. I know that's wrong. So don't just Google like, oh, well, I know the answer. Like that's yes and no. It's everything is different. So it's just don't assume you can learn everything you want through the wonderful world of the internet.
So I'm not going to marry a millionaire, and I'm not going to have a ginormous house with a pool inside.
I mean, maybe go see a tarot reader and see what your palms say or something. I don't know.
Well, I think Chat's better than that, right?
No. Yeah. So it's just the internet's a great resource, but it's not a solution.
I'm not getting married again, so
no. You're blacklisted. That's not allowed. But okay. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, noted.
I blacklisted you.
And it's on tape.
It's like a no-fly zone. It was a flight risk, whatever they're called. You can't fly. You get your face plastered all over like the airport. Your sphere is all over the courthouse. Cannot marry.
So I won't get married at a courthouse. I'll get married on a beach.
You can't get a marriage license.
Oh, good point. That's okay. I'm not getting married.
I got connections with the,
Oh, you do? Really? Huh.
Sure.
Tell me.
Yep. I got some friends on the inside.
Friends in low places.
Backwards, segueing back. ChatGPT I love it, but I also hate it. And I feel like most people feel that same way because it's not, they think it's the answer. Like, oh, well, ChatGPT said this. Like, yeah, well.
I mean, that's even just like Zillow. Well, Zillow said my house is worth.
But yeah, it's just, the internet is not your lender.
Right.
You need a human.
Right. The point here is don't, you can do your Google search, you can do your chat search, you can do, all of that. But the point comes down to you actually need to talk to a professional.
Right.
The ones that, have to do their continuing education, the ones that
every year is mine.
Oh, mine's every 2 years.
Yeah, every year I have to do it. 8 hours. Fantastic.
So, you can go to Google, but just know that that's not it may not be
It's
the actual,
yeah.
It'll guide,
Yeah.
the outline.
Yeah, it's like a starting
But-
point kind
right.
of thing, but then fact check yourself on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's important that you
Mhm.
have the right knowledge.
And the crazy thing is I sometimes just have people randomly that will just call me to ask me a question.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it quite a bit. And actually, I haven't lately, but I was there for a while. They will just call me and just say, you're a realtor, right? And I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, do you mind if I just ask you a couple questions? I'll be like, no, not at all. Go for it.
Mhm.
And then that's it. Then I don't ever hear from them again, which is completely fine. I'm happy to ask a question or answer a question or
Right.
two.
Right.
Like knowledge is power, and hopefully then maybe because they're happy with my answers, they'll come back and use me. Please.
Right.
Please, please.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, we're going to keep on saying that. I feel like that's going to be like a consistent, and that honestly is a whole basis of why we started this podcast is knowledge is power. We're talking about the things people don't talk about or don't understand, or introducing solutions that you wouldn't have even thought of. Like there's just so many things that are out there. It's just the more that you understand, I feel like the more confident you're going to be, regardless of what stage you are in. Even if you are a seller, now like even if you're a seller, you're going to sell your house and buy a new house, unless you are downsizing. Let's say you had this big family house, your kids are grown, they moved out, it's just you, or it's you and your spouse, or whichever. You're downsizing, and there's plenty of equity in your house, and you can buy your new home in cash. You can still use that bridge loan. So you don't have to get approved for a mortgage. It just in the off chance you have to do that, your bridge loan will still, if there's no mortgage, it can still take the equity out. So it's still a solution for our move down buyers. It's a very powerful resource. It really is. So it doesn't matter, what you're doing. It's an option to look at. I'm not saying it's the perfect solution for everybody. For a lot of people, though, especially for our move up buyers, it's a really good option to make the process easier.
Correct. Oh, absolutely. I can see that. Yeah. And it makes your offer more attractive. So
Yep. So you guys have any questions on how bridge loans work, or if you want to learn more details, or just anything in general on what we've talked about, just put them in the comments below, and we're happy to reach out to you privately or reply back to you on the comments here, or maybe we can make that another episode just to talk about other things, because a lot of the things that we don't even talk about are things that happen often that you don't even think about it. So it's usually a fresh perspective, like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. Let's talk about that. So anything that you guys think of on that process, just let us know. We're happy to address it and bring it up. And the more I feel like the more comfortable you're going to be. And then we feel like we've done a good job with this podcast too, to educate you and make this process more fun and less stressful.
Absolutely.
So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys. Oh, next week is actually our guest speaker. So next week we have Anthony from BRH coming on. He's going to talk about all things roofing. So that's going to be a good one to tune into next week on roofs, because especially in winter, we see so much icicles, ice stands on roofs, or, when we haven't had that in a while though, that really thick, heavy snow sitting on your roof. Like right now it's been so dang cold that it's just been like fluffy, and it blows right off. But talk about, how to take care of some of that so you can prevent future damage to your roof, or just things to look out for. So we have Anthony coming on next week to talk about roofs. If anybody has any questions related to that, you can also put those down below and we will get them to Anthony, or just comment on that video also and see if there's anything left unknown, and then we'll make sure to get those get addressed as well. But that's going to be a really good one to learn more about too. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks.